Welcome to Beyond the Box. Inside, outside, upside, downside, beyond the box.
Break it down.
Our guests are insiders, now on the outside and the right side, dropping truth and nuclear intel bombs and breaking it down just for you. And now it's time to meet your hosts and co-hosts. Your hosts of Beyond the Box are Brenda Lankart and Suzanne Hott. Brenda Lankart is host of Beyond the Box and retired law enforcement. Joined by Suzanne Hott, host of Beyond the Box, Joel's Indoor Arena and Event Center, and White Horse Productions. They are joined by co-hosts Tom Althouse, Tommy Edwards, Brian Sang, and Penny L.A. Shepard. Tom Althouse, co-host Beyond the Box, is the real author of The Matrix, The Immortals, and The Matrix Redeemed. Tommy Edwards, co-host Beyond the Box, Virginia Tech football star, recording artist, and mental health advocate. Brian Sang, co-host Beyond the Box, Full Disclosure Now Movement, FullDisclosureMovement.org. And Penny L.A. Shepard, executive producer and co-host of David Zublick's Awake Nation, The Dark Outpost, Patriots Perspective, and Beyond the Box.
Break it down.
This show is for entertainment purposes only. Inside, outside, upside, downside, beyond the box. Beyond the Box begins now.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another adventure with Beyond the Box. Today is May 25th, 2024.
My favorite person is here.
Well, let me also, Susie's here, so let me go ahead and bring her in because she's got to scout up our prayers. One of them days, guys, that's all I'm going to say. I'm going to shake my head.
Me too.
Throw my...
Put your hands up in the air and shake them like you just don't care.
I don't. You know what, though? My landlord gave me a beautiful... what kind of metal is this, Jack? Platinum ring. And it's a heart. And it's so pretty. Yeah, she's so nice. I like this landlord. She's non-confrontational, though, but I really like her. She's a good person. Yeah.
You look exceedingly beautiful. So do you, Susie Q. How are you?
I'm glad you said that.
I'm okay.
I had a comment of like, I just rolled out of bed hair.
Really? Okay, that's not very common.
Well, it was put a different way. I'm being nice. I was like, wow. Oh my God, really? Yeah, 7 years ago. So I guess my hair looks pretty stagnant.
So, Susie, how was your day? What did you do today?
I had an interesting thing happen at the cow auction today. So I had to go take the puppy. We have all these border collie puppies, and we had a guy call me who was bringing some cows down to the sale. So he said to me, I'm on my way up there. He said, okay, I'll be in the driveway. I'll be in a white dually with a flatbed trailer in the driveway. And I said, okay. So I pull in and I see the white dually with the flatbed and the guy sitting in the truck. He's talking to a couple other guys there at the driveway. So I get out and I walk over and I say, are you the guy that wants the puppy? He goes, no, I'm not that guy. And I'm like, what? And I look at my phone. I said, see, my text says you're sitting in the driveway in a white dually with a flatbed. He goes, that's not me. And get on the phone. I text. I said, "So where are you?" So here comes this other guy, and he comes over, and I tell the guy in the pickup. I said, "What's the chances that you're in the same exact truck, sitting in the driveway, and he's at the other end of the driveway, this other guy." And he comes over and he says, "What's the chances that this is my same exact truck with the same flatbed?" And I'm like, "Right?" So anyway, I met this guy, this older man. He was really nice, but it was just weird. Okay, it was like I go, "What is this? A glitch in the Matrix day or something?"
Well, not only that, but you know what else was weird is that the guy had another dog, and what was that dog's name?
Oh yeah, and that guy that came had a dog named Penny. He said,
Yeah.
and he, and he and he says to me, he goes, "I have a dog named Penny," and I didn't say anything. I didn't say my sister's name is Penny, And he says, "But Penny bites everybody. She just bites everybody, and she hates everybody." And I'm like, "Well, my Penny doesn't trust anybody, so
Everybody don't bite anyone.
I used to work at a Cocker.
Try to be nice.
Penny, you got feedback with your thing for some reason. I don't know what that is.
On my end,
No, Penny does. Yeah,
Penny
it's like it's kind of reverbing a little bit.
Okay, that's weird because I don't hear it at all either.
I don't hear it either.
You hear it, Brenda?
No, I don't hear anything.
Yeah, when she talks, I can hear it kind of reverbing a little bit.
You know what? Maybe it's because my mic is too close to my speakers, and maybe that's what's doing it. When I was in California, I used to work for a Cocker Spaniel kennel, and we used to show the dogs. And we had gone to Hawaii to go show some dogs, and somebody presented her with a new dog, and the dog's name was Brenda Britches. I was like,
Brenda,
really, Brenda Britches. I was like, really, come on.
But let me tell you something else. Okay, that's weird you say that, Brenda, because then you made me. So I'm coming home, and I turn into the driveway, into the road, and I see a dead squirrel. Well, I see a squirrel. He's laying in the road, and so I tell Joel, I said, I got to get out and see if I can help that squirrel. I didn't know if it's completely dead or not. So I get out and I walk over to the squirrel, and I can see his eyes are kind of bugged a little, and I'm like, oh. So I got to pick him up, and I'm going to take him off the road and put him off on the side. And a lady across the street pulls out, and she starts talking to me, and she says, "Hi, I'm your neighbor," and she wanted to meet me, and I said, "My name is Suzanne." She said, "My name is Suzanne."
Yeah.
And
all right, let me answer a few questions. William, yes, Bree is actually my nickname. I've had that for years. I decided to shorten the thing because it was too long. And William says that we all sound like we're underwater.
oh,
We are, William. We are. We're doing this show live from Atlantis.
you mean we sound like is it reverbing? Because I could still hear it a little bit. Is that what he means?
I guess I turned my speaker down. Let me try it again. Let me turn it down a little bit more because it might be me.
Okay.
It's always me.
So it's weird. I had a double truck, and now I meet somebody named my name. I'm like, it's like kind of a unusual day.
So, Susie, you want to give us a prayer real quick so I can bring out the other co-host?
Okay. So I just asked the Father to help us because we have a surprise guest who's been having a hard time besides getting locked up in the crazy house. And now he's trying to get on tonight, and he's having issues. So we are hoping and praying that, the powers that be, the good ones, will make a way so that he can come on and talk with us tonight, and that we can carry on. And then I pray for everybody that's watching, that everybody's going to be blessed and then going to have a good show tonight. So I thank God, and I thank Jesus, and I thank all the angels and everybody that's on the right side. Okay.
Brenda, we can't hear you. You're muted.
Because I was muted. the way most people would really love me to stay. Anyhow, so first off, let me bring out our our handsome and talented Mr. Tom Althouse.
You mean Dr.
Mr.
Lampshade?
Dr.
Mr.
Lampshade.
Dr.
Lampshade is
Lamp.
I'm
Dr.
really-
Lampshade, my favorite
Norma.
person.
Yep, Norma, honey, get your lampshade.
Yep.
Hurry
I'm
up, put it on.
Penny told me. So I'm like, okay. Now I gotta leave to do a gunfight in a little bit, but it's okay. It's all right.
You know what? I just found out that that one of my guests, she's George Papadopoulos's wife, and George and her, Simona Papadopoulos, they just did a Western.
Wow. Can she handle a shotgun? We're kind of
I
outnumbered.
guess. Yes.
I can, really big ones that are bigger than me too.
I
They
just
knocked me
found it
down on
on
the
her
ground, but
on her
it's okay.
Facebook page because I was checking in, and she and George just did a premiere of their Western that they just did.
Wow.
I thought she was doing a documentary, not a Western.
How fun would that be if we all did a Western together? That'd be
Right.
so cool. Yeah. That would
Ooh, I
be
like
We
those
are
old,
headed that
I
way
like
because-
those old dresses they used to wear in the bars out there. I think
And
I
you know
even
the-
have one of those.
the
Act
light
away.
coverings in the saloons are to die for.
That is true.
Mhm.
And
It'll look
Susie's
good on
going to be
Tom's head.
writing a book about her, a person that she worked for, that she took care of, and that she called her father, and that's Buck Steiner. And, you know, he was born in the late 1800s. So that would be a very, you know, is it a rodeo king, right, Susie?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, Penny, Brenda, can I tell you guys a funny story real quick?
Can
Yeah,
I
do it.
bring Tommy? Can I bring Tommy in?
Yeah,
Yes, bring Tommy in.
Yes. And I bring in our handsome and multi-talented Tommy Edwards. Hi.
Hi, Tommy.
Love that.
Hello.
Oh, that reminds me, Tommy. Glenn ran out of chips, so he's made a deal with me. He's sending me the Texas Star coin for my collection, and I'm going to send you my chip for your hat
Oh, nice.
because I've got the same poker chip. So yes,
Nice.
Nice.
but
How's
you,
that?
yeah, he puts them all in his hat. Collects them.
Just a few.
Just a few. I have one.
So,
one
Susie,
day.
what was the story?
One
The
day, remind me to
story-
show you my coin collection. Go ahead, Susie.
Okay.
Sorry.
No, it's good. So the story is when I met my neighbor, Suzanne, she works for the city hall over here. And I told her, I said, I've been hearing that we've been having some problems in our town, that we have some guy in a hoodie who's running around robbing everybody. And he dropped a 1911 gun and recently. And I'm like, everybody's freaking out because they don't know who this guy is. And she said, yes. She said, we just hired a policeman because we don't even have a policeman in our town. Okay. And she says, we just hired a policeman, Penny, and we can only give him 15 hours because we don't have enough money to pay a policeman. So he's only going to be
my
working
God.
15 hours. Right. And I'm like, oh my God. And
Infamous wisdom over here. Miss
Huh?
Infamous Wisdom over here says, Brenda, I got a job for you.
yeah, Brenda.
Yeah,
What am I
come
gonna
be the
do?
sheriff. You only have to
Yeah.
work 15 hours.
Well, look, when all you have
As long
is a
as
dollar
nothing happens
store,
in that 15 hours, I'm good.
yeah, right? Wait, all you have is a dollar store and a gas station and a bank in your town, and only 200 people in your town. I guess you can only afford, 15 hours for your sheriff.
Get
True.
it. Support your local sheriff. You're like, hey, I'll take PayPal.
Hey,
So the
Penny.
way
Sounds
I
like
look-
a job for Texas
Yeah.
Texas Rangers.
You can
Norm's
get
gonna
You can
lampshade.
get Dr. Lampshade can do all
Dr.
of our
Lampshade
doctor
will
work.
do it.
Yeah, I'll do it. Norma said she has a lampshade. Norma has a lampshade. I
Yes,
wanna see
Norma
her
has her lampshade.
Oh,
Good
Norma
deal.
has her lampshade?
Yes, I told her
Norma
to get
was
her
asking
lampshade.
for you. You already have fans. You have a fan base. She's like,
I
where's
want to
Dr.
see
Lampshade?
this. I want to form a lampshade club. Yeah.
She's like, is Dr. Lampshade on tonight? Last
Yeah.
night I was like, no, Dr. Lampshade's on Saturday.
Yeah. I've known Norma for a while. We've kind of followed each other through a few shows. So,
That's cool.
but
Now we were expecting an unexpected guest, and we're not sure if he may pop on and figure out how to actually sign on. It apparently it's very complicated to do on an Android phone as opposed to an iPhone, which
Mhm.
is a little bit easier. But
I'm looking
Susie,
for it now.
you did a show on the Dark Outpost. It was very, very intriguing. I don't know if you'd like to discuss that tonight. But it was in regards to hell, to the actual individual that is called hell.
Oh, yeah. We've been talking a lot about that.
Do you want to talk about that tonight, Susie?
Yeah, I can mention that, and if we get our guest in, we'll just change gears, and
Okay.
because we're gonna talk, he's gonna talk. The guest is gonna talk about Hollywood, so
I know how to do that. I learned how to
Uh,
drive in the 3 in the tree, so I can switch gears real good.
Me too.
You know what? I'll start off. I'll start. I post something on Facebook, so I'll have to read that,
Okay.
and then it lead into kind of for the people that don't understand or what because this is probably a subject that a lot of people don't know about. So let me pull it up real quick. Let's see.
And I'm going to look for that video.
Okay. Yeah.
And I'm going to shift around in my chair and get my behind comfortable. Oh, okay. I need a new gel pad. If anybody's feeling frisky. They're only about $100. We're good.
What precipitated this discussion that we're going to be having, Susie, on hell for you? What set
Well,
this
there's
off?
there's some things that I will not talk about that I am directly connected to I'm going to put it this way. I have been groomed for 20 years through the churches, through prophecy. For the past 20 years, literally groomed over and over and over. Every church I've gone into, they have pulled me out and prophesied to me. And so that is basically, what this is about, and it didn't matter where I went. They just come here, and then they're like, okay, and then they're telling me this stuff. So, but I found out that this is not the Spirit of God or the Spirit of the Holy Spirit. Okay, this is a spirit that is operating in the churches, and that's what we're going to talk about. And the pastors that this thing is operating in are usually very promiscuous and have a lot of scandal connected to these pastors of these big mega churches that I've been involved in with this particular spirit. So
for me, what precipitated it was that we had an individual on our show who is going to be on our trauma triage team as a permanent member. His name is Michael Francis, and his daughter is receiving international coverage because she allegedly killed herself, and she was married to a pastor. So I already started writing a little bit. I'm going to be doing an expose. There's a Netflix movie. It's called, it's actually 50 Cent is a rapper. I'm not affiliated with 50 Cent. I'm just 1 cent penny. And, and so 50 Cent did this like mega deal with Netflix, and his show is going to be called Did He Do It? All right, as in did he do it? And so I started writing today that
what a
yes,
title.
did do it. And so I wrote one of my very first posts. I'm gonna be writing. We're taking a little bit of time off from the Awake Nation. We'll be there Tuesday. We're gonna have Monday off, and we'll be there Tuesday, and then we won't be back on the air. It's David's anniversary until the following Wednesday. So I'm going to be writing and also trying out some software applications because we're going to be moving towards doing documentaries.
And hanging out with me.
That's true. You're going to come over too. And, Dr. Lampshade, you're welcome to come as well.
Come on, Dr. Lampshade.
We need the light as it is.
Can I bring my little bulbs with me too? I mean,
yes, we need as many bulbs as possible. Okay. So, anyway, so I did start writing on this, but this was a precipitating factor for me because Susie and I have a lot of we all have these discussions about the pastors, because this also leads into Diddy groomed Justin Bieber. Justin Bieber was at Kanye West church, who Marilyn Manson is part of that church. And as everyone knows, Marilyn Manson is a Satanist. He's also Johnny Depp's daughter, Rose's godfather. And so Kanye West, who produced a song called Jesus is King, but he actually broke it at the Oculus, the One World Center, that's the I in New York, also produces Little Nas Satan Shoes. And as you know, Little Nas Satan Shoes, Little Nas started out as a country guy, but then within a year after he got all the children to listen to his music, his next thing was he was on a stripper pole with Satan, and he sits in Satan's chair and twists Satan's head off and takes his crown. And so Kanye West produced Little Nas Satan Shoes. He also sold a bunch of shoes. The reason why they say Satan shoes is because he sold these shoes out that have blood in them under like a minute. And I think they were like $666 or something like that. Might have been even more than that. And then Nike lends out their name, and I think that they were going to try to sue Nike for other reasons, but it pertained to that particular Little Nas Satan shoe that he sold. So we're talking about the churches which are working in conjunction with Hollywood, and also Britney Spears and Justin Bieber were very good, friends. I think they were boyfriend and girlfriend at one time. And when she got locked in the crazy house for the umpteenth time, they let her out. That's when she was with Sam. They let her out to go to a church. And Justin Bieber also affiliated with Hillsong. So I'm going to be doing an expose on all of these churches. So Susan and I were talking about that, and these evil churches. So I'm like, well, what do you think that this causes? So she starts telling me about a church that she went to, which was after she had heard this phrase, the wind of change. Do you want to speak to that?
Okay. All right. Let me read this to you right here, and then we'll go to that. All right. What I wrote is, who is hell? And the word hell, if you look at the word hell, it's the way it's spelled, her name is H-E-L. So it's E-L, like God. The angels or anything has the E-L at the end. Okay. So who is hell? I will tell you, I am Altfather, a descendant of my family Odin, Altfather, Freya, and Balder, Thor, Hod, Vidar, Herman, Hemdall, Valley, Vidar. Odin was the son of the Valsung dynasty of heroic legend. She, the daughter of Loki or Lucifer, the murderer, lying trickster, he had hybrid children, and Hel is cast to the underworld. She, known as the Queen of Hell, the darkness, the mother of darkness, Lilith, she and Lucifer's family is at war with my ancestors. She is known as the Winds of Change. She appeared to the church in the name of Emma. The leaders who are compromising with homosexuality, she seduces, and she appears to William Brenham. This is William Brenham as an angel who will start an uprising, and she comes to the IHOP members and Bob Jones and Todd Bentley, who has been in many scandals. She, Hel, who is known as Lilith, the night demons, is at war with Odin's bloodline. People who get possessed say that they bark like a dog. Hel has a hound, the Hound of Hell. She also has a bird-like feathers. Many chirp like birds and slither like snakes and will shake like they are in seizures when they enter into many Christian people under the spell of this witch of Hell. She will know your weakness and sins and use the priest to speak her prophecies. Many see gold as well as feathers and gems that she reveals, the tainted ones. She controls and deceives. This witch is a powerful ruler. But let it be known that I know your works, O evil daughter of Lucifer, and how you have worked in the leaders of the churches who are fallen. And I will continue to expose your evil plans, and I bind you and all your spells and your tricks as I follow the truth. Okay. So, and Penny, you have the video of Hell, the goddess of Hell. I don't know why my phone is doing that. It seems like it's echoing.
It's you and Tommy because you use your phones. That's why I keep muting because if I'm not muting and you two are talking, it's louder. Let me, Penny, do you want to pull it up? You want me to pull it up? You're muted, Penny.
Sorry, one sec. There we go.
Okay.
When one thinks of Norse mythology, many deities come to mind. Freya, Odin, Thor. But what about Hel? What about the goddess of Helheim? Do people know of this place? Do people want to know of the lady who oversees the 9 worlds? How did she come to be there? Who is this place for? Why is it important in Norse mythology when everyone is trying to get to Valhalla? Helheim is the lowest of the 9 worlds in Norse mythology. It is located in Niflheim and surrounded by the great river Gjoll. Presiding over this place is the goddess Hel, daughter of the wily god Loki, and giantess Angerbolda. This often overlooked goddess is terrible in appearance, with half her body being flesh and the other half being black and rotting. The Queen of Helheim's name means one who hides, or one who covers up, and who can blame her with such a hideous appearance. This visually terrifying lady came to her hall in Niflheim due to fear from the Asgardian gods. It was prophesied that the children of Loki would bring about Ragnarok, the fall of the gods, so she was banished by Odin to Helheim. However, she was not charged with simply living a lonely existence in the farthest reaches of the Norse universe. Hel was given her hall as a place for the dead. She was tasked with keeping the souls of those who didn't die in battle. In her cold hall, she kept the souls of children who died, as well as those who became sick and too feeble to wield a battle axe or sword. There, the souls were doomed to an eternity of misery in the cold and damp, as she, with much indifference, listened to their wails of sorrow and grief. This goddess and her place within the mythology became necessary. The Norse, above all, feared her. They feared her realm. If one did not die in battle, then one must not have fought long enough or hard enough. If one did not die upon the battlefield, then it was not a glorious death to be both celebrated and mourned. If one was not struck down by combat with the enemy, then neither Odin nor the Valkyries had any interest in that soul, and there would be no eternal warmth or feasting. The only soul to ever enter and escape Helheim was Hermod, in his bid to free Balder from there and avert Ragnarok. Balder, the son of Odin and Frigg, was much loved among the Aesir throughout both the Poetic Edda and the Prose Edda. There are numerous references to his death. These reference his death as being both a tragedy and an omen for ushering in Ragnarok, the end of days in Norse mythology. The legend goes that Balder saw his death in a dream, and, in an effort to postpone Ragnarok, Frigg went to every object in every realm and made it promise to not harm her son. Every object except the mistletoe, which she saw as harmless anyway. Loki then fashioned a magical spear, sometimes recounted as an arrow, from the mistletoe and hurried to Asgard, where the gods were engaged in hurling objects at Balder, their favourite pastime. Loki gave the spear to Balder, Balder's blind brother, who threw the spear and killed Balder, and so Balder did not die in battle. Therefore he found himself in Helheim. From this grief, Frigg ultimately sent Hermod to Hel to retrieve her son. Hermod told of how great the weeping and grief of the Aesir was, and to him Hel responded, "If all things in the world, quick and dead, weep for him, then he shall go back to the Aesir, but he shall remain with Hel. If any gainsay it, or will not weep." According to the Prose Edda of Story Sturluson, all things wept for Balder, all but the giantess, Thuk, believed to be Loki in disguise. So, Balder had to stay in Hel until after Ragnarok. Within a modern pagan construct, Hel is not a goddess who is mentioned or even often known outside of those who practice some kind of paganism surrounding the Norse pantheon. There are few, if any, hymns written in her praise. There are few, if any, groups dedicated to her service. Were it not for the translations of the Norse myths, Hel may have been lost completely to history. However, like many dark goddesses, she has her place when one chooses to work with the shadow self and aspects of the underworld. This terribly ambivalent goddess of myth may welcome modern practitioners who are brave enough to travel the road to Hel and gaze upon her terrifying form. She seems to be slightly aloof, as though challenging the practitioner to keep her attention. If the practitioner cannot do this, she sends them away with nothing gained. However, if the practitioner can grab her attention and keep it, Hel will impart some bit of wisdom and give them something to carry back. This something always depends upon the person, so it could be a bit of paper with a drawing, or a bauble of some kind. Hel is an interesting goddess within the Norse construct. She is the antithesis of all the things the Vikings sought after. She was, to the Norsemen, what Satan is to contemporary Christians. She was something to be feared and loathed. Her presence was part of a necessary dichotomy in their religious and cultural structure. She certainly wasn't interesting or beautiful, yet she had her part to play, just as all of the gods often do. However, in modern paganism, Hel can be seen as another dark goddess who can transform the shadow self in unique ways that other, more popular goddesses may not be able to. If you would like to learn more about Norse gods and goddesses, we recommend you start with our books. Thor and Odin by Morgan Daimler are good places to begin.
You know,
Okay.
Penny, what is odd when when you and I discussed this before, when I used to do the whole Wicca thing. Now we knew about Thor and Odin and all of them, because we believed, not that we didn't believe in God, we just believed in many. But I never heard about Hel. Or did she go by a different name, Susie?
Well, they call her, another name is Helen or Hela or Hel, and Queen of Hell, Mother of Darkness, or Lilith.
I didn't really
Uh,
dabble in any dark stuff with Wicca. Mine was more nature, and I still believe Jesus is Lord and Savior. It wasn't dark, so maybe that's why I didn't really have anything to do with that. So that's why maybe it's not familiar to me.
Well, here's the problem. So Norse mythology and the stories are passed down, and then you have Christianity that takes over, and then you kind of and then I mean, it's like the same people, but they have different names, different, it changes.
Right.
So I'm going to read this real quick. This is in Isaiah 34:14. And I don't know why my phone is feeding back, but it says, her nobles, this is in Isaiah 34:14. It says, her nobles shall be no more, nor shall kings be proclaimed there. All her princes are gone. Her castles shall be overgrown with thorns. her fortresses and thistles and briars. She shall become an abode for the jackals, and a hunt for the ostriches. Wildcats shall meet. Hang on a second, I have to go to the next thing because shall desert beasts. Satyrs shall call to one another. There shall the Lilith repose and find herself a place of rest. There the hoot owls shall nest and lay eggs. Now this is the connection to Bohemian Grove and the worship of the owl. This
Yeah.
is the worship of Lilith. This is what she dwells with the owls. Now they say she has claws on her feet, so that would represent why these feathers fall down in the churches, and also why they chirp like birds when they get possessed by the spirit. Now, and then the dogs barking when people are in these revivals, they start barking like dogs. This is hell's hound because she has a hound of hell. And people have heard those terminologies, but probably didn't know the connection to it. So then
Yeah, I
it
know.
says,
I
it
know all
says
about
that,
the Bohemian Grove thing. So yeah.
right? And it says, there the hoot owl shall nest and lay eggs and hatch them out and gather them, her shadow. There shall be the kites assemble. None shall be missing her mate. Look into the book of the Lord and read. No, none of these things shall be lacking. For the mouth of, it says,
Let me say something really quick. Tommy and Mike, we have the two of you muted. So Tommy, if you have any questions, raise your hand and just wave at us and we'll click you on. Okay. Mike, same thing for
Okay,
you.
and then also,
We'll get to you
I
as
wanted
soon
to
as we
mention,
can.
we do have our guest here, but we're going to bring him in after our break, which will be
he's
at the
already
top
here.
of the hour. Yes, but what I'm saying is that as far as speaking, we'll bring him in after our break, because what we're talking about right now is pretty important. Dr. Lampshade, it also has to do with an entity, which is a demon called Emma.
Yes, I know.
right,
who
and
this-
it's going to
yeah.
tie this really all ties in to the Hollywood, and I mean it really does. The church is the Hollywood. It's all connected.
But you're
You know.
filling in some blanks too. I mean, I've never, ever, ever connected the dots like you guys are doing tonight. Every time
Yeah.
I get with Penny, oh my God. I mean, I'm just here mind blown. People always say they're mind blown by the story. I mean,
Yes.
if you look at the Immortals, the Matrix story, is it not about two worlds? Basically, it's like you think you're in one and then you find out the other.
Yep.
And what was I groomed to be? And what's so wild is my life was saved. I don't talk about this, but before I ended up with the offer to be the face, right, to mislead, there was and I kid you not, there was a black cloaked, hooded female figure. I thought she was Victorian, but
What?
yes, and it saved my life 3 times at least. And what it would do is this. It's fascinating. I never talk about this, but it's before I wrote The Immortals. And when I was being brought up to be, the dark side. And what happened was it would simply, all I'd hear is this, and they can't put me away for this. This is what I heard when I was younger. I'd hear my name softly spoken, very sweetly and softly spoken. And so there's one time I fell asleep at the wheel when I was driving, and the car had been actually sabotaged by this one group. They said I'd be dying in flames. And what had happened was they had taken the lug nuts off the wheel, right? Just before I ended up at Robertson's group. And I heard the voice go, Tom. And I was like, whoa, what's going on? It's like, and then I felt this. It went, are you ready to die? And my answer was, yes, but I'd like to continue on. I feel like I got work to do. It's like, yeah. So I was like, but I would
Just volunteer, Tom.
I know. I was like, well, whatever. I was always casual pretty much about everything, but like sense of humor, optimistic. They called me like too much an optimist. But I would see the figure at a distance, and it would be like black, like a riding habit from the Victorian period, like a black cloaked figure, and it actually saved my life. 3 times I've heard that soft voice go, Tom. I didn't, and I could never connect what it meant, right? But after I said no to Robertson's group, the Hollywood group, and everything, I said, I will not partake in this. I never heard it again. But my understanding was that I was giving a no-touch protection rule, but my sons weren't. So what happened was that loved ones died around me, but I could not be touched. Apparently, there was some ruling in the other worlds that I was not to be touched, but I would still suffer the losses. It's just you just put the pieces together. So isn't that crazy?
It's because Lilith kills your children. That's why.
Well,
I'm telling you.
But I didn't sign the contract. I would not serve what I was going to do. I said I would serve those that were to be harmed. So that's why I wrote the piece. And I asked God if I could write the piece. And now it's all coming true. I just want.
I didn't sign a contract either.
I told Susie, I said, I'm ready. Let's go find her. Susie and I are just going to go take her out.
I feel like I'd know her if I tell her. I mean, not to go too woo-woo, but I mean, what do I say? You know, it's like this. I never had a connection for who it was, but
what the hell? That's what me and Brenda laugh. We go, what the hell?
I know, but what do you say?
Hell no.
He saved my life, but my sons are dead. So
Yeah.
Right. Now, another thing that we found out, we found this out from CJ, okay? When we're talking, CJ tells us that there's a demon, because, you know, CJ is a pastor. He's a reverend right now. And he tells us his family is, his wife was from Cambodia, and I think the president of Cambodia is related to her. So he tells us that there's this demon called Emma. Okay. Emma-O, the Japanese Buddhist mythology overlord of hell. Jigoku, corresponding to the Indian deity Yama. He judges the souls of men, while his sister judges the souls of women. The sinner is sent to one of the 16 regions of fire or ice assigned to him by Emma-O for a fixed period of time until the next rebirth, unless saved by the prayers of the living. And it's very Catholic, right?
That's purgatory. Yeah.
He is reborn either on earth or in a heavenly paradise. Emma-O is usually represented with a fierce expression, wearing a Chinese judge's cap and holding his mace of office. Jigoku in Japanese Buddhism, hell, a region popularly believed to be composed of a number of hot and cold regions located under the earth. Jigoku is ruled over by Emma-O, the Japanese Lord of Death, who judges the dead by consulting a register in which all are entered, all of their sins. He is assisted in his examination of the dead by two disembodied heads, which rest on pillars on either side of him. The female head, Miru-Mi, has the power of perceiving the sinner's most secret faults, while the male head, Kaga-gu-hana, can detect any misdeed. Damnation is not eternal. The dead are sentenced to fixed periods of time in one region or to several regions in succession. The sentences can be shortened by the intervention of bodhisattvas, those who destined to become enlightened in response to the prayers of the living. The Jigo Soshi, a late 12th century scroll, depicts the 8 great hells and the 16th lesser hells in both texts and paintings. So Susie did a dark outpost on this, which goes to great depth of this. But when do you want to tell them what happened when your daughter was dying?
Well, let me finish reading this particular scripture real quick, okay? Because I had to go to it. Okay, so it says, "Look in the book of the Lord and read. No one of these shall be lacking, for the mouth of the Lord has ordered it, and his spirit shall gather there. It is he who casts the lot for them, and with his hands he marks off their shares of her. They shall possess her forever and dwell there from generation to generation." Now, okay, so here's the thing. Emma, that the story goes that what Penny was saying was my daughter was in the hospital dying, and she'd been in there. She had about a week left, and her name was Tasha. She was 19 years old, and she was in Breckenridge Hospital in Austin. So I was walking from the parking lot to the hospital, and I heard a voice say, I heard the wind started blowing, and I heard a voice say, "The winds of change." So I went into the hospital, and I met my stepmom, Mary, and Mary said, "Something weird happened to me when I was coming in here." She said, "I heard a voice say, 'The winds of change.'" And I'm like, "What?" you heard that voice too? And I'm like, that's weird. So then my brother James, who he and I had a Christian radio station in Georgetown, Texas, he was on his way. He said, I'll be there in a minute. I'm going to park the truck. And so he comes in and he says to me, he said, something weird just happened. He said, the wind blew and I heard a voice say the winds have changed. And so I look at my stepmom and I look at my brother and I'm like, what? How could that be that all three of us heard that voice? That is so weird. What is that? And so during that week, my family had all come and had consoled me during my grief because, it was like I was going to just die of heartbreak. And during that time, there was a revival going on in Lakeland, Florida. And this was in June of 2008. So I decided that what I needed to do was to get close to God. And so I would go to this revival. And so I go to this revival. And that's when it was put on by IHOP, International House of Prayer, out of Kansas City, okay, which is connected to Rick Joyner. Rick Joyner is the head of Malta, which works for the Vatican. People don't know. And also Bob Jones, who's the prophet for these charismatic churches, and which is connected to, I believe his name was Johnson, I think, who was connected to the Vineyard churches. Okay. But I don't, a lot of these certain pastors are corrupted. Now, I don't think the guy who was over the Vineyard churches was actually a bad person. I think he was okay from what I could tell. But some of the others were all scandalous. You had boyfriends and girlfriends, and, there was all kinds of things going on with these other pastors. But so these particular churches, Bob Jones had prophesied. He had been visited by Emma, and Emma was this angel that came to him and said, that there was going to be 3 great revivals that break out, one out of Canada. There would be the Pensacola, Florida one, and then there would be the Lakeland, Florida, which was led by Todd Bentley. Now, Todd Bentley, when we got there, he got kicked. It was a 3-month revival. He got caught doing the young men and another woman during the revival, so they pulled him off. But he was going around. He had been visited by Emma. He talks about it in the revival, but he claims it wasn't Emma that actually gave him the healing anointing. But Bob Jones and them said that all this revival would be controlled by the spirit of Emma, and so Bob Bentley was saying stuff like, I wasn't getting any healings tonight, so the Holy Ghost told me to kick this woman in the face with my combat boots. And when I kicked her in the nose, and then he's like, he jumps on somebody in the church, he says, and he starts choking them and he knocks somebody's tooth out. And and you should see the crowds. There was 400,000 Christians that came to this revival. It was broadcasted on God TV, and people are cheering when they hear that this guy just knocked out somebody's tooth and he's kicking somebody in the face. And I mean, this is all in the name of the Holy Ghost, of these churches. And, and so but this does all tie back to the Norse story where you talk about Balder and Loki being Lucifer and finding out that his weakness was the mistletoe, and so he makes an arrow, and that's how he murders Balder, who is known as the god of love and purity and truth and goodness, and he's like the good guy. So he's jealous of him and he wants to kill him. This is the family of Odin, right? And so he makes an arrow out of mistletoe. Now, mistletoe is the same as Hollywood. So Hollywood is a parasitic plant like the mistletoe. So this is the weakness. This is the thing that poisons and kills. And what do they do? This is leading up to why Hollywood is named Hollywood. It's like a parasitic poisonous plant, and so you see these things connecting and these themes through this story, through hell, and how they try to poison good people. So I'll just kind of leave it at that.
Wow, this is amazing. What a program.
Yes, and so CJ actually sent me some pictures, but I don't know if I'm going to be able to bring them in. And Susie's going to be doing an expose on this as well, as am I, regarding these churches. And so when Susie found out that Todd Bentley had said that an angel came to him named Emma.
You know what's really wild too, Penny, is that the cabal, the players in the cabal, I don't know what goes on it's like a hierarchy ties them together. They can't go on just equal footing because they have this jealousy with each other. You'll see their minions being jealous of those of us that get a spotlight. And they do this comparison program thing of like, what level are you? Are you famous, not famous? Are you a celebrity, you're not a celebrity? And those of us that don't want to play that game get called egomaniacs. And we don't want to be part of it. I'd rather be farming. Yeah. But the thing is that they actually do this decisiveness amongst their ranks. And then they try to, all these minion guys come up, try to make it in Hollywood by pleasing and doing harm because of all these wannabes. I was surrounded by wannabes in Hollywood. And I was so disgusted with them. They come to the gas station, they come to you anywhere you are. If you're making it in Hollywood, and the hard thing is you turn down the offers, right? You turn down the offers because you don't want to be part of it. And these guys are the ones that are picked to come at you, to assail you and assail your character and reputation publicly because they want to be famous. You're the one that turned it down. It's a little infuriating, you know, and then they try to compare it with you. They're nothings when it comes down to it. They sell their soul to do harm. And so I consider a brotherhood and sisterhood those that said no to Hollywood glamour, those that said no, and I enjoy meeting them. I don't like when people lift it up and say they're a celebrity, and they name drop all these celebrities that they know. They go like, I know so-and-so, I know Sharon Stone, I know so-and-so. Yeah, so do I. But if you're going to name drop everybody and that's your way to the top, then you're nobody. They can see you, they laugh at you in Hollywood. If you want to be noticed and you want to have a legacy or you're remembered forever, say no to everything and
do it yourself.
Then you'll be remembered. They remember you.
Yeah.
Oh, I see. Pamela just commented about Mike Bickle, and you know, I was making a joke about Mike Bickle being a pickle because he has scandals about women, and she was saying there's some crazy. That's the same spirit that's running through the Mike Bickle. Yes.
Yeah, so Susie, would you say that spirit is demon Emma, which is hell?
Yes. Same one. Same as Lilith. Same as Bohemian Grove. It's all the same.
Just gonna say.
So when we were discussing Micah Miller's case and the pastor, it appears that and also isn't Todd Bentley now back in the saddle again?
Oh yes. Yes. Rick Joyner brought him back into.
He rapes boys. He rapes girls. What, you know? Let's put it this way. We can't use the word rape because they consented, because they were manipulated. So
groomed,
but
very groomed.
He gets away with it. And do you want to tell the story about your friend? We've got like 5 more minutes before we go to the break, and then we're going to bring Mike in.
Yeah, and you know what, Penny? What's interesting is we go from what we just talked about, and we're going to have. I'd like to have Mike and Tom elaborate a lot because they have experience in Hollywood and all these connections, you know. Yeah. So that's going to be really good, you know, conversation. I'm looking forward to hearing, you know, like these two minds talking, you know.
Yes.
Yeah. The thing, if I had taken the offers and gone the way they were promising me, all these different groups, you wouldn't want to be in the world that I'd be in charge of. You wouldn't want to be in it if I had taken the offers and gone the Hollywood way. So, yeah, it's dark.
Same here.
Yeah, it's dark. I know. I know you know. It's not good. I would encourage anybody in Hollywood that's offered to turn around, tell the truth, stand for the kids, stand for what's right. It's much better this way on this side. And just, you know, live loving people, helping people, lifting people. Forget about the red carpet. Forget about the fame. Forget about name dropping. Forget about being a celebrity. Once you're offered it, it's nothing. It's empty. And you wonder about all these worshiping.
There have been testimony after testimony where the individuals say, you know what, I was offered all these things. I knew the satanic stuff that I had to do to get there. And then when I got there, it was emptiness.
It's emptiness. That's right. You got all these idiots that are wannabes looking up to you and praising you. Think of it. It's totally empty. I hated it. I couldn't wait to get out of Hollywood.
And
Tommy,
it's
did
just
you have
getting-
anything? Did you have anything you wanted to say or ask, Tommy? Yes, no, yes.
No,
No.
not right now. Do you want to
Okay.
take that break now? And then that'll bring us to the top of
We
the
can
hour.
do
So let's
that.
take that 5-minute break now.
We can do that. It'll give me a minute to find the video because I wasn't ready yet. You always get
Okay,
me
we'll
if I'm not ready.
take a 5-minute break, and then we'll come back with Mike and
Yeah.
Tom, and they can discuss the evils of Hollywood or mistletoe,
Holly weird. All right, everybody,
poisonous plant.
give us 5 and we'll be right back.
Hello? Susie? Annie? Susie?
Break it down. Break it down.
are back.
We are. Dr.
right.
Lampshade, I have this little condition. Can you, coffee before condition fixing? All right.
That was just
So,
time for me to make some tea. So thank you.
yeah, I know. All right. Susie, where were you? You're muted, honey. You're muted. Hang on. Let me see if I can undo you. Oh, shoot. Okay, go
There you
ahead.
go.
Okay. Oh, one of the things that I wanted to also say, if I missed it, was the name for Emma is the Winds of Change. And that was according to Bob Jones and Todd Bentley. And also, that is the name for Lilith. She is known as the Winds of Change.
Right.
Because he said first the angel that was released was called the Winds of Adversity. And now the Winds of Change was, and this was a term given to her because she brings in a storm, a wind of storm. Yeah.
Did you say Lila? Lila?
Lilith.
Yeah.
Lilith or
Yeah.
Lilith, according to the Bible. Her name is Lilith. Yeah.
Also, Michael Aquino's
Or Lilith.
wife's name. Mike Vaughn, you
Yeah.
are on air. Would you like to speak?
Hi. Hello.
Can you hear us, Mike?
Can you hear me?
We can indeed.
Can you
Hi,
hear me?
Mike. Yes, we can hear you.
Yes, we can. Would you like to tell people who you are?
Well, first of all, I can tell you, since y'all are talking about demons and stuff, my phone has got completely demonically possessed. I've burned up now 2 chargers to my coming out of my truck. I'm in a truck right now, not in a building. I went from 20 charge down to 1%, and I'm just now getting it back up to 3%. Now, I've gone through 3 cords. These demons are burning the hell out of these cords.
Actually, when you use your phone and you go on a video stream, it will suck the life out of your battery. So yes,
it sure is. This is interesting. Getting back to the demons concept, have you all heard of Dr. Scott Peck, Harvard MD?
Yes.
He wrote the book called The Road Less Traveled. But more importantly, how about the people of the lie?
the what?
The people of the lie.
The people of the line?
Yes. Have you read that portion of that book he wrote?
No.
No.
Well, I was in medical school, also neurology, neurophysiology research, and that kind of stuff. Brain control, if you will. Psychology, parapsychology. Parapsychology was a new course. And when I read Dr. Scott Peck's The Road Less Traveled, I thought, oh, this is kind of a namby-pamby disappointment, because basically I had a lot of respect for him until he wrote that book. Basically, I was agnostic, perhaps temporarily or partly considered atheistic when my daughter died. But anyway, getting back to Dr. Scott Peck. Well, I couldn't help but to be more interested in another book he wrote called People of the Lie. And what he was describing were case histories of some of the most outstanding politicians, actors, actresses. They're not named in the book, but I kind of had wind of what was going on. And he kind of gave up on the idea that with all the group encounters, psychotherapy, the psychoactive drugs, etc., pharmacology, and out of desperation, he went from being an agnostic to going to studying with the Catholic Church on real live demon exorcisms. And he finally was convinced that demon possession was an absolute reality to him. And I listened to that and he just basically lost his reputation among the psychiatric people, and his great reputation went down the drain. With me, it went the opposite way because I was studying parapsychology, which was a new course in the early 70s here in the universities of California systems. You know what? I've come to realize he's correct. He made a prediction that he thought by 1984, since he wrote this People of the Lies, I'm sorry, you guys can look it up. I'm getting a little have a little bit of old timers, getting a lot of memories here that I can't quite pull up exactly when he wrote the People of the Lie, but I think he projected that by 1984, interesting date, another character wrote about 1984, that it would become a medical term, an accepted medical term, that demon possession would be a known psychiatric and physiological diagnosis. You guys talking on there, me looking at you like psychologist or psychiatrist, I'd say you all have schizophrenia of some sort. You're hearing voices, saying things. I would say you're delusional. I would say that you're schizophrenic or have some sort of an autism.
Well, I'm a medium, so I would definitely take offense to that.
What's that?
I said I'm a medium, so I would definitely take offense to that.
Well, you can take it all you want, but the psychiatrist will put you into a nut house, and it's called medical kidnap. Penny, what do you know about medical kidnap?
It's actually happened to all of us. It's happened to Tom Althouse. It's happened to me. It's happened to Tommy Edwards. It's happened to all of us.
We've actually, I mean, in my course, I've talked to a number of people in the field who are high level because of my casework, and they actually formed friendships and thanked for, because if you are faith-based and you have experiences under the title of faith, it is not considered delusional or psychiatric, so that, thank God they do that. So if you are in a faith situation where it's your faith that is interacting, then no, you are not delusional.
Yes, and I was also married to a psychologist, and his parents were psychologists. They were marriage family crisis counselors. So, and they were very adept at NLP, and I think they were some pretty evil people.
And good Lord, I've been seeing and talking and communicating with dead people since I was 5 years old. So don't give me that.
I think your book was 1983. I think it was 1983 was your
Now I've got 16 humans that are over the age of 23 up to 51 that call me dad, or my one daughter of and the other one will adopt. Some people go to dog, cat rescue. Me, go to the we get the worst of those kids.
You're breaking up really bad. I think you said the demons are messing with your phone. You're breaking up really bad.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, I heard we get the worst of the worst, and that's about all we got out of that.
Yeah, so what we do is that they're D-rated. They're the worst of the worst, ready for incarceration or mental institution. And they're heavily sedated with psychotropic medication. They cannot focus. But anyway, I get them off all of that, go organic, and animal therapy. And my kids get delivered of demons, and they get delivered of pharmaceutical products that make them delusional on top of their schizophrenia. Now, I do, at this point, know that I have seen demon possession. And I would say that most all of you out there have seen it also. Maybe you haven't. Oh, thank you for putting that. Yeah, it was October of 1983. Thank you for placing. That was Dr. Peck's People of the Lie. Maybe I concluded that he made that prediction in 1984 that demonic possession would become an accepted medical term. To this day, it is not. You talk this way, and you guys will disappear into a psychiatric unit, and you may never come out, let alone it'll be just pure hell to get out of there, at least a year. Do you know anything about that, Penny?
Actually, I don't mean to interrupt you, but actually, many of us have already gone through this. We've already been versed in the state with this stuff, and we have prevailed. God has had us prevail. And so actually, we're respected by many authorities in high positions for having seen it through. And what I've been told when I was hauled off was they actually knew I was a, quote, cool guy, that actually I did the work that they were fans of. And so if you are, accomplished, award winning and things like that, that's where they're falling short on trying this trickery. So, I believe in God. I believe in faith. I believe in that. No, what you're saying right now is not going to happen. We're not going to be hauled off. No way in hell or heaven.
Tommy has something he wants to say too. Hang on, Tommy. Let me unmute you. Go.
So yeah, like as I was getting hauled off, the deputy that drove me to the state hospital, because they took me to a state hospital because they made the assertion that I was violent or dangerous. So none of the private ones would even consider having me as a guest in their hotel there. On the way there, it's about 45 minute drive to an hour drive. The deputy kept talking about how we had hung out years ago and had snorted coke together, and which was kind of an odd conversation, and the whole time I was in there, I kept bumping into people because I worked in mental health, and like had fans come up and help, provide things that the station nurses wouldn't even consider. I wanted like a notebook and a pen so I could write some ideas down, and that didn't happen. And then somebody shows up with one magically. Hey, remember that time you played against Pitt? Sorry.
Yeah, I believe we shouldn't live in fear at all. If we've accomplished through and have accolades in our fields, we can open the door for others to be safe, and that's our responsibility. And I don't think we should ever live in fear, be saddled, or accept any proclamation that we're going to be otherwise. I refuse it. I am going to succeed at what I'm doing. My son will benefit what I'm doing. People have been through that and have succeeded too, and I'm proud and honored to call them friends and co-hosts.
And I'll tell you what, I ain't afraid. There's only one thing in this life I'm afraid of, and I'll punt, kick it, and run. So, but yeah, I mean,
I did have an individual on the show, Brenda, that he was a psychologist, and he said he believed that schizophrenia was demons, and he actually had some people that were healed now from schizophrenia with exorcisms, etc. So that would actually mean that the demon, because you can't be cured from schizophrenia. It's like being a psychopath. You're a psychopath forever until the person that you're stalking is dead or the psychopath dies. Tommy?
Hang on, Tommy. I'll unmute you. Give me a minute. Go.
Psychopathy is totally different than as far as psychology is. But the problem is, the technologies, the voice control, and the voice of God machines using at least the early to make people seem like they're schizophrenic, and to force them in situations where they're drugged and like warehoused to shut them up.
Yeah, they say that paranoid schizophrenic is one of the first things they throw at you, the other side. And that's a Hollywood term. There is no such thing as paranoid schizophrenic. You can be schizophrenic with paranoid tendencies or something in their little DM3 book.
Yes, especially you're not paranoid if it's actually happening.
Now
that's it.
Yeah, and now I will tell you that there are some people that they say that are schizophrenic that actually have demons. If they get rid of those demons, then they wouldn't be considered that. Then you do have, you have some psychopaths out there. I mean, look at who we got? We got Bundy, Dahmer, so on and so forth. And they're just people that can't be changed because they enjoyed what they were doing.
Yes.
But people who actually have demons, and you would be surprised, there are normal people that act normal that have demons, and they don't know.
So what Susie was saying about this spirit, Emma, we're believing that spirit is possessing these pastors. Susie?
Yes.
Okay, so that what I've noticed about Emma or Lilith is because she targets these pastors that are compromised, okay, like the ones that are caught up in some really bad stuff. So, like one of the things I noticed when I was in one of the IHOP churches, and everybody had kind of cleared out, and I had made a prayer, and I said, "Let an angel from the Lord come down." And when I did, all this gold started falling down. Okay, so this guy saw that, and he said, "Oh my God." I seen this gold coming down when you were praying. Would you pray for me? Well, he was actually homosexual. And he said he was married and he had homosexual issues. He was a pastor and he wanted us to pray for him. Well, one of the things that I noticed in some of these meetings that Emma shows up with this glory cloud of gold and whenever there's homosexuality around. So another thing, I met another pastor who was in these revivals, and he said that these gems would appear in his hand like sapphires or diamonds. And so I met him before one of the services, and he was talking. Well, he was talking about how he knew that something great was going to happen during this one service, but that the spirit passed him by and placed this gem in this other pastor's hand, and he said, "That was mine." Like, and I'm like, whoa, like what was that all about?
The
Like,
spirit of greed, the spirit of what was that movie? My Precious.
Yeah.
my precious, that's mine.
You know what?
My precious.
Do you know what's wrong with that? The night that the gold happened on you, Susie, when we were on the show and your lights popped off, and Steven saw the pixelation, but I saw the angel standing behind you with his hand on your shoulder.
Yeah, I actually have an
me.
angel. I have an angel, but it's not Emma. He's
cried.
tall, long blonde hair. I believe it's Balder. Okay, that's my take. Was one of my ancestors Balder? I believe that's who it is, and
I'm here to tell you that angel that follows her around is extremely powerful, because when he popped in there and I seen him, it pushed me back in my chair like somebody kicked me in my
all
chest.
all my lights blew out in here too. And it's happened before. So yeah.
And I started crying, and I mean, it was so powerful. So I don't think that was anything bad. But what these big preachers are doing in these churches, I don't think it's for any good. And in money and power, it all goes back to the same thing. Money is the root of all evil. I think I would rather live in a cardboard box on a street corner in my freaking wheelchair, of course, with my dog, than I would a big old house. Money is just the root of all evil. My little brother used to say that we should all be able to trade our goods with eggplants.
That's so interesting you brought that up, because I lived my whole life that way too. And now, not to contradict, I'm just saying where I am on my path right now.
I did too.
Because I had to be trained in order to utilize it properly, to plan ahead. And I was just talking to Jen about that too. It's like I am now prepared to get what I'm worth, as Hollywood says it, and if even a portion of that 1.2 billion they're talking about is increasing, goes in my hands, I'm gonna use it for right and hold me to it. Watch, just like we formed a circle to make sure we're accountable, right? So that's what I'm going to do. I'm ready to take the responsibility, and I watch me. I'm going to rely on you guys too, and make sure that I'm held accountable. So,
and I'll tell you, I don't make a whole lot, and I kind of got screwed, but it'll come back because karma's a bitch. And but I could have my last $5 on me, and if I see somebody walk up to me and ask me to go in the store and buy them food, I'm going to take that $5 and buy them as much as I can, as cheaply as possible, so they have food. I mean, that's just me. I can be completely broke. I get paid on the first. By the middle of the month, I'm completely broken. You know what? It's okay. I have a roof over my head. I have food in my mouth. I have clothes to wear. I'm good.
The
I'm taken
simple
care of.
thing that I think people should be looking at right now, and that's what I tried to bring even to when I talk to Disney execs or different people at, like at Warner Brothers or Sony. When I'm in these circles, they say they know I wrote this thing, so they're like, "We're fans of your work." Well, even when the NASA guy calls, I'll talk about this, and it is this: we should not spend our time taking each other down. We should spend our time envisioning how we all succeed together, how we all lift each other together, how we rather that concept of looking to each other. So rather than pointing fingers about mental conditions, why not alleviate the cause of those stresses and say we're here for each other? And Hollywood scoffs at that because they're all about that power, as you said, Brent, about power and money, that kind of thing. And they don't factor in compassion. In fact, that exchange I have with the Disney group, as I talked about before, on the tape you hear them go, "Well, Tom, all they understand is power." I'm like, what about compassion? When you have compassion, and I believe that's who our Father has us focus on. Once you see that compassion, I'm not talking about, I can check it off my list and say I got compassion. Once you actually feel, breathe, embody it, and exercise it, and train in it, then yes, you can walk the road. And whether it's called Road Less Traveled, I hadn't read the book, but I'm saying if we're talking about,
I did read that book.
The pathway is lit, is what I'm saying, and that's what I was given. The pathway's lit. Be strong. The pathway's lit. That's what I was given. Words I was given. So
yeah. And like I said, when they shocked me 9 times and broke my sternum trying to bring me back, I heard the most powerful voice tell me, "You have someone to help and you have work to do. Go back. Not your time. Go." And I was like, ooh. That's business.
That's the way I think we should approach it, Brent. I think it's like, think of a mindset of this, a mindset that if we are here with this time, this gift of life, then think of it as if I can help one child, if I can help one person, like Cinder's List, if I can help one person, that my life does do that through my art, through my efforts, through my friendship, through my critical analysis and critical thinking, it's worth it. My life is something that I can say something good happened.
Yeah, let's do that. Second time.
Set ourselves that way. Set ourselves to, let's do it. Instead of debating with each other or taking each other down, let's set to looking to that. And then once we achieve that, once we know we've touched one life, let's go for the next one. Let's get greedy about it. Let's see how many lives we can touch. Not comparing with each other, but to lift each other and celebrate that we did something together.
That's the second time, Tom. The last time we were on here talking, what did I do? Deja vu. Again. I've already heard this conversation from you. There's that time loop. We've all been here before.
And I never remember saying it, did I? So I don't remember saying it. So this is amazing. It's like
We've been here before.
Yeah. What's going to happen is a lot of psychiatrists and psychologists, I've known a ton because I actually became friends.
Me too.
They're fans of the work. You know it, right? Yep. When I'm in, if I get told off by SWAT teams, they'll be like, "What are you doing here? Why is he here?" And other people step in and get him out of here now. He doesn't belong here. And they're like, "Okay, just go." That's what happens all the time when they try this stuff. But what's interesting is many of these people in the psych field go into the psych field. I've heard this from other people in the psych field. They go in the psych field because they got problems.
Yeah.
They don't have faith. They don't know how to deal with it. And so what happens is they're seeking answers. And when people like us come through, because we've been through the grist mill or thrown in unjustly, we end up counseling them. That's the circle that keeps happening. And I find it very amusing.
Now, I'd like to throw in the name Michael Aquino and his wife, Lilith Sinclair. Okay.
I said that out
now,
loud.
Yeah. So, and the reason I'd like to throw that in there is because Loki, or Lucifer's hybrid monstrous children, or hell, has always attacked the good or the pure or whatever. So, basically, the reason that Michael Aquino has attacked so many people is it's all connected to the spirit of Lucifer or Loki or Lilith or hell. And this is why Lilith is married to Michael Aquino. And this is why so many people have been targeted through the super soldiers, through these programs by Michael Aquino. And this is because they're jealous of the good and what's right, and they want to take it down because they want to dominate. So I just had to throw that out there.
Right, Susie, I think you're absolutely right. And they're also afraid of the influence others might have because they'll miss out something. They might not gain something. Often people ask the question in Hollywood, what's in it for me? I hate that question.
Oh,
I don't know.
God.
Instead of what's in it for me, the question is, how can I help? How can I help? It's not what's in it for me. It's how can I help? And if you turn your art into a service rather than somehow you're picturing fame ahead of you, like the Wachowskis, then your art will be a service. It will rise. It will have an effect. That's why my work became so successful. And then they call me egotistical. No, I did it because I wanted to do it as a service, and I wanted to go back to making gardens. You know.
There you go.
Now, Tom, let me just throw this out here. I wanted to make a comparison to the fact that you went to Pat Robertson with a script called The Immortals. They stole it from you and turned it into The Matrix. Now, Mike has a very similar experience, and so I kind of wanted you guys to talk about that.
That sounds fantastic. And before we open up, Mike, I wanted to ask you.
Thank you. It's so interesting. But we're talking about angels. My particular treatment presented to CBS Studios in 1990 to 94-ish was brushed by an angel's wing. And then it became touched by an angel through CBS. I wanted to do real live docudramas, blah, blah, blah. And, they just changed a few things, as you know. So anyway, they took off. That became a 10-year run. Now let me tell you about Pat Robertson. Because he had Pax Television family, I thought I would be dealing with a Christian. Well, let me tell you, I was dealing with a devil. That's basically what he was. He lied. I rewrote the show, called it Miracle Zone. Diane Cannon, and I was looking at Leo DiCaprio or somebody like that as the male host. And they ripped it off and did it and called it Miracle. And it was with John Boy Walton, Richard Thomas, if you will. So yes, they are just like elephants with their sex organs at their feet. If you try to sue them, they not only step on you, but they ump you too with their sex organs and their feet.
Maybe this is meant to be our coming across each other's path because I may not believe this, but my mentor in Hollywood was the person who's the daughter of Grandpa Walton, Will Geer. So my mentor, I worked at her theater, Will Geer Theatricum Botanicum in the Topanga Canyon outside the LA Basin. So that's where I was being introduced to Hollywood, one of the ways. And so this is weird that you're talking about John Boy Walton and I'm talking about Grandpa Walton. And but that's why if I had traveled the path that I was being offered by Hollywood, Ron Howard and Tom Hanks would have been my mentors. I would have been in their camp. And you could imagine what I would have been exposed to. And to hold on what I was being offered, I'd have to also agree to. So,
have you ever heard of John Daly of Hemdale Film?
I have heard of John Daly.
Evan? Is that a yes?
Yes.
That was my mentor. One of the biggest, really good, successful producers with over Academy Award, 20, 30, a whole bunch of Grammys. He did first Terminator, made Schwarzenegger, who is Mark Landau was Tom the Mission Hospital franchise. Anyway, my mentor, and I hired him in the year 2000 after creating a corporation called FAME, Film and Music Entertainment. Well, this much as a scoundrel after he bought me $1 million in that group, $50 million for 2 days.
Yeah, we're catching every other word.
I think we can't hear what it's breaking up, Mike.
Yeah, I heard something about Schwarzenegger.
Well, Mel Gibson brought his Passion of the Christ to us to make, and I thought it would.
All I could hear, Mike, was that Mel Gibson brought you the Passion of the Christ today. Everything else I couldn't hear.
Tommy, did you want to say something? Okay.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, go.
He brought us the Passion of the Christ #1. Today, he's bringing me Passion #2. I'm not bringing it to me, but I'm joining his team to raise $60 million. That's a whole other story. Mel wants to do Judeo-Christian, so do we. Self-entertainment. So he's looking for, and we're looking for, investors that get a good ROI. The Passion of Christ #1 was $700 million in profit, pure profit. Look that up, guys. It's an incredible profit. The guys on my board of directors said, "Oh, we don't need another Jesus film. Oh, hell no." And they were basically ugly, tight Zionists, if you will. And I'm not talking about the 12 tribes of Israel. I'm not talking about the Messianic, which are the Jews. Jesus, or if you will, Yeshua himself is a 12 tribe from the tribe of course, what? Judah. So anyway, we're doing now the second part of Christ going to hell in that period of time. Well, where do you go those 3 days and 3 nights? So it's going to be a really far out venture. Go ahead.
Really wild. This is wild. I'll give you 2 things right away, if I may. 2
1
things.
minute, 1 minute, Dr. Lampshade, please. I'm sorry. Penny, CJ said to have him turn his camera off and just be the audio that he
And
won't
then he
break
won't
up.
break up. If
Yeah,
you turn,
he can try that. I'm not sure he even knows how to do that.
It should say on the bottom, there should be a little camera thing. All he has to do is push that button and it'll X out his camera. Do you see that?
You want me to hit that?
yeah,
I just
try
yeah,
that.
just
That should help
turn
your
camera
voice.
off. Not the mic, just the camera.
Just the camera, right?
Yeah,
Yep.
Yeah.
I'm hitting it.
yeah.
Anything happening?
Yeah, just leave it off.
Just leave it off right there. Don't touch it again.
Leave it off. Now go ahead and say something, Mike.
Mike, go ahead.
What do you want me to do?
We're
Yeah,
trying
that's
to
better.
save your streaming so that you're not in and out. So leave your camera off and speak.
Oh yeah, I'm watching the battery climb. I'm from 1. I'm up to 4.
Not working.
I didn't fix it.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I didn't fix it.
Well, I just want to get this out before we lose him.
Okay, go ahead, Tom. What were you going to say, Tom?
I just want him to hear this. If you
Okay.
are working with Mel Gibson, please pass on the word that Mel Gibson is going to be a defendant in my situation because of what he did with the Wachowskis. He's the one that claimed introduced the Wachowskis to Joe Silver and Warner Brothers to steal the work that was supposed to be for God. The guy's not a good guy. He worked with the Zionists. And so I want Mel Gibson to talk, especially after my sons died. I do not like Mel Gibson. I think he's a fraud. He stole the work. He was integral with Joe Silver to steal the work. I have nothing good to say about him. And he lifted my work badly. Yes, he lifted my work in Forever Young. Forever Young is the opening sequence of mine. Let me explain what happened. In Forever Young, he's a wolf in sheep's clothing. Forever Young, the opening sequence is about a Allied airman who they did a B movie on it, and it was 93. And that Allied airman is cryogenically preserved. He comes back and finds his wife, Helen, right? Well, my work was submitted before that, and Joe Silver gave it to Mel Gibson. And Mel Gibson's the cover story for bringing Wachowskis in. In mine, you have a German person, military person who's cryogenically preserved. He comes back and finds his wife, Helena, and she is aged and he hasn't. Mel Gibson is a fraud, and he's using the church to profit off of. You said about those $1 million? Yeah, he's planning to make a lot of money. That's not the measure. It's about the faith and how you reach people and helping the kids and doing the work as a service, not about the money you make. You can make $5 million trillion and you're not a hero in this world. You're somebody who profited off the Christ message that Robertson did. What needs to be done is you need to actually look at it as how many people you can reach with a good message that might do good in the world and have a long story that's actually connected, that matters and makes a difference, not about making money. Mel Gibson is a frickin' fraud. He ripped off my family. And he was hired by Joe Silver to do it. I am pissed.
What are you doing, sweetheart?
Talk to him. Let him know. Let him know. I will not be abashed about it. If you talk to him, just let him know. Tom Aldhouse would like to speak to him at some point. He wants to make it right. Otherwise, we're serving him in the future. He's profiting off of God.
Tom,
Mike?
tell us how you
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
But it's good.
Hi,
we're
can
in
you hear me?
Yes, we can, Mike.
Oh, pushed the wrong button, did we?
Okay, he's gone.
Well, all right then.
I got to tell you, I'm glad this all surfaced too, because Mel Gibson, he's the one that got drunk and railed against the Zionists, railed against them when he was drunk. Then he gets on and apologizes to them later when he's sober, because he sold back out to the Zionists and apologized. When he was drunk, he did the right
Tommy,
thing.
did you want to talk?
What's that?
Going back to the Waltons for a second. The Waltons was based on Spencer's Mountain, which was a Henry Fonda movie. And that was actually written.
It sounds like drumming. It sounds like there's drums.
Yeah. Tommy, is it windy where you're at?
It's like you're getting interrupted or something. It's like it sounds like a powwow, like drums going on.
Being interrupted.
Brenda, mute for a second.
All right, hang on.
Yeah, there's I'm getting like denial of service attacks and stuff. That means my Wi-Fi wasn't working at all for the whole house, and the phone service wasn't working for a while. I'm not really sure. What I was saying is the Waltons was based on a movie called Spencer's Mountain, the Henry Fonda movie, and that was based on my grandmother's family up near Charlottesville. But 3 degrees of
yeah, we're all connected here. It's like a pivotal moment in history right now with this show. I'm sure it's uncomfortable. I'm sure it's like, oh my God, what's going on? What did Tom do? But the thing is, I think it needs to be said. Mel Gibson's with the Zionists, and he's trying to use Christ in order to profit off it. I'm not going to have it, And if I'm given the opportunity to face it down, I'm going to face it down, and I will. And that's what I think is important. We have the courage to say, no, the lie is over. The game's over. Let's go for the truth and set things right. And right now, Matrix 5's coming out, and Mel Gibson's going to want to duck away by covering with a Christian film. No, Mel Gibson was integral to the whole theft at the very beginning, and ripped off a number of this stuff, even in Braveheart, where the picture falls from his hand with his wife. That's the ending in The Immortals. The whole thing where he had the multiple people that were the love interests and stuff like that, and the thing where he thinks he sees his wife talking to him. That's in The Immortals. He just ripped it all off after Forever Young. So the guy needs to come clean, and he should do it without having to drink alcohol and get caught with a DUI. He needs to actually do it when he's not inebriated. Do the right thing when you're not drinking, Mel, and then that's when you'll actually do something in history. Because right now you're going to be revealed, and I think it's time we end the circus and end the false people that are claiming righteousness. Mel Gibson is a bastard, and he has taken advantage and taken the money, and he's not going to get away with it anymore. So this just answered my question. Should I name him as a defendant? Freaking yeah.
Yeah.
Thank God for you guys. I didn't know what this program would be like tonight, but I'll tell you what, this all worked out to have me say something I never meant to say, and the things you shared were just hit me like wow too, like with Penny and Susie and Tommy. What you guys have shared all connect the dots. It's like I am mesmerized. I'm struck by tonight's show, and it's like God just put his hand on it and said, "Here you go. Here you go. From everything you're talking about, Norse mythology to everything."
But we love you too, Tom.
You're amazing. And you'll know I'll speak my mind. I'll speak my mind if it helps me the way and make a path to finishing this. It's enough with these clowns having the reins. It's time we take the reins out of their hands. And if we've done the work and done the art, it's time we get credit back for our children and our families, that we can pool resources together finally to make a better world. That's what we intended to do when we made our art as a service. So thank you for this tonight. And I don't care what kind of flack I get. I'll say, Mel Gibson, no. Mel Gibson, do the right thing. Do the right thing. Stop hiding behind Christ and do the right thing.
Yep. Made a phone call. I got somebody looking into my internet for me to find out what's going on.
Where the attack is
this is
coming from.
Ridiculous. and I have a sneaky suspicion that we do have ears right now. So
Oh,
I've
we have
got.
ears.
Of course we
Oh,
have
yeah.
ears. You know
So
that.
I got somebody
Look, I have 2 of
on
them.
it.
I just gave a tip about what
We
the
have
case
10 altogether.
Yeah, they're very concerned about the court case coming with Matrix 5 announced, and so we've been heavily watched. Like anybody talks to me, here's the phone interrupted all the time. It's like they're very concerned that I'll actually come forward and address Matrix 5.
Yeah, for some reason though, they let you and I talk.
Because they want to hear what we have to say. They want to hear what we have planned.
Lord have mercy. I have messages coming in on my phone like crazy.
Yeah.
Yes, and also, as you know, on our show, 2 things happened on the Awake Nation. One, David Zublik was told by his neighbor when he went out to go get his garbage cans. And here's the other thing about that: the person that went through the garbage cans had to know that the garbage cans were put out on the curb on Monday. All right, they had to know that. So his neighbor is leaving his house and says, "Hey, can I talk to you?" And David says, "Sure." And he says, there was a guy that was going through your garbage cans this morning. He wasn't going through anyone else's garbage cans. He was going through yours. As soon as he saw me, he get in his Toyota and left. He said it wasn't a government issue car. And this neighbor also happens to have I don't know if it's policing or PI or what his experience is. And so David said, okay. Then he went back inside and he has a Ring camera. And he looked at the Ring camera, and the time that he told him that he saw it was erased on his Ring camera. So I think he said it was like 6:03 to 6:10 or something like that. That footage was gone. So David said, what shows did we do, right? I said, well, let's say, we did Tom Althouse's show. And I said, and then we asked Amy Holm, hey, who would have the ability to erase that? And she says, well, the feds could do it. I say, as in the FBI? She says, yeah, they can do that. And then I said, well, the other show that we did was a whistleblower show on Pfizer. And that individual was also outing James O'Keefe with OMG and Project Veritas, who he worked for. And he said that his Pfizer intel, he was a scientist at Pfizer. He's a young man. His name is Justin, and Justin's website is justintegrity.net if you want to contribute to him or you want to become an investigative journalist on his behalf. So those were the 2 stories that we broke. The one that, and then also Susie was talking about the churches, and she went on Dark Outpost and said, hey, Penny, have you seen my shows? I go, I never watch our shows or anything. I'm not even a member of the Dark Outpost, but I would be, so I'm getting a membership. Susie has a membership, and she said, yeah, my shows aren't there. So I said, all right,
I have something to read.
Okay.
Those of you with the CIA that are tapping into my lines, I live in Texas, and our freedom of speech is protected by law. I do not authorize you to listen nor interfere in anything that goes on in my programming. You are to cease and desist right now and do not tap back in. Thank you.
That's a good one. One of the reasons too that I get so much flack on the technical side too is because I've said the agencies are a joke, that they're not heroes, they're not honorable, that it's cowardly to go to citizen homes and invade them.
Sorry, I'm joining you again.
Hang on, Mike. Go ahead, Tom.
Yeah, that is cowardly to go into people's home with body armor, automatic weapons, and break into their homes when they're making dinner for their elderly parents and taking care of their child. What cowards would do this? What would Washington say back when they won the Revolutionary War and this was happening? Could you imagine redcoats breaking in, or even federals breaking in to homes and just unannounced with these weapons? And when you haven't done anything wrong, and it's like, I can't think of anything more cowardly. Body armor? Are you serious?
Hey, I'll be right back. I got to knock on the door.
Yeah, but anyway, yeah.
A knock on the door.
Yeah, it's probably the CIA. It said, we got your message, Brenda. Thanks for
Yeah,
all right, I want to throw a little something out there real fast. The the Norse story of how Loki kills Balder is with with a mistletoe plant. He makes an arrow out of it. They shoot it into Balder as the Jesus story under his rib cage, and this is how he dies. It's the only thing on the planet that can harm Balder. Now, the interesting thing about that is at Christmas time they put the mistletoe over the door, and you kiss under the mistletoe. Now they do that at Christ massacre time, Christ Mass, because Judas kissed Jesus to betray him in the garden. So that is the connection between the mistletoe, the holly wood, and the poisonous parasitic plant of the mistletoe, and that representation between that story and the Christ massacre story where Judas betrays under the Hollywood, the mistletoe.
Penny, Penny, if Tommy needs to talk, keep an eye on him. He had something he wanted to say. I'll be right back.
Yes, I know.
Okay.
I got you covered.
Yeah, go ahead.
So, Tommy, did you
Tommy?
have anything you wanted to say?
I said, I was trying to say, did anybody notice the series of numbers that came up over our screen?
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
Oh, that was me. I was checking. I went into the settings, and I was just checking to see what the volumes and if there were any bad readings as to why we're getting that crackling, that incessant crackling.
I was going to say this. I feel led to say this, that we are all pieces of the puzzle. We are all pieces of the puzzle. Let's join together to solve the problem. Let's all put our pieces on the table, each of us. And we got great people that follow in the chat too. Let's put our pieces on the table. I love the chat thread.
Yes, the chat, it's family. And, you know, as I said to you, we vet people, and I had a very small circle of trust. It was Suzanne Hott. That was it. Nobody else.
Smart. Yeah, that's smart.
And then I have David Zublik. And so that circle of trust, it takes time to be invited for me into my circle of trust. It takes a great deal of time, takes a great deal of vetting, and, you know, understanding someone's actual heart and what their intent is. And Tom, you and I are very, very much alike.
We are. And how many times have we been approached by Hollywood stars and directors like Sir Swayze and the rest? It's like, I don't know if I said that right, but they're always coming our direction. And it's like but the thing is, if you're in the Hollywood circle, that's why I have trouble with Mel Gibson and what he did. It's like often you're marching soldiers for them. It's like they'll tell you to do something, you do it, and you stay in the category for the Emmys and the Oscars.
Okay, Mike wants to say something. Mike?
Yes. Can you hear me? Hi.
Yeah.
I'm glad you shared with me, I'm sorry, going back there, about your perspective on Mel. I would like to talk to you after the show to get your real perspective.
And
they broke you up again, but I appreciate that sentiment. They broke you up again, but what I did hear, I appreciate.
He is under so much attack. I cannot even, you know, he got thrown in the crazy house last time he tried to talk, and he's getting so much interference. And I mean, everything that Mike has to say is very important.
He just showed himself a true gentleman. I mean,
yes, well, what we should do is we've got about 10 more minutes on this show. Mike, stay with us. Afterwards, we're going to have an after this show is over, we have an after talk where we just talk. We're not on air. We're not on record.
We're in the back room. We're in the back room just talking. Yeah.
Not being on air, we won't have all the interference either.
But my suggestion also is to maybe reset, Brenda.
Yeah. Hey, everybody. Yeah. Listen, we're going to go ahead after the show. I'll reset my screen so it'll knock everybody off.
And we'll send out links.
We'll individually send everybody all the links. So, Tom, do you want the link?
Oh, absolutely. I'll join you. I mean,
we'll send the links to everybody, so you can hear me, Mike. I'm going to send you another link. I'll send one to WhatsApp, and I'll also send it to your phone. Okay.
And Penny, we have to make sure when I reset it, let me open up the thing, and then you come in. Then you can send that link. If you come in first, it's going to knock me out.
Right.
And we'll have to do it all over again.
Yeah.
So I'll go ahead and do the reset. and then I'll go back into the studio. You go out of your studio and come back in, and it should put us in the same studio. If not,
Excellent.
I'll send you a link to send everybody else.
Okay.
Okay,
Now,
we got it. All
for
right, let's-
now, Tommy, did you have something to say?
That's one. That's Mike. Mike, are you in Malibu right now?
Yes. Yes.
Hello, I just want to make sure that we're all on the same page. I'm very thankful for all your different points of view on demonic possession, oppression, and if you will, everything's a vibrational frequency, according to both Einstein and Nikola Tesla.
Yes.
Heard that. That was cool.
You know, we got to get you situated with better setup. We'll check you and when we're bringing you back on again. We'll get you in a better setup so people can hear what you have to say. For now, we have 8 more minutes before we have to leave. Susie, closing thoughts?
My closing thought is that we have many Judases under the Hollywood.
Tom, closing thoughts. I mean, today you the Emma thing. I saw your face, okay, and we could talk about that off air. But I knew when Susan and I were researching it, and CJ also sent us a bunch of things. Tommy, you know exactly what I'm talking about, the Emma thing, okay? Both of you, both two Toms, know exactly what I'm saying about the Emma thing.
Mm-hmm.
All right, and so. That was a revelation that was actually given to me by CJ Connor, who CJ Connor is a reverend who actually was told by our first trauma triage member who came to me and has since passed, Pastor Mark Powell. And he went to CJ, who pastored the same church, and said to him, if I die, you need to take over my thing. You need to continue where I left off. So when Mark and I, the last time Mark and I talked, he said he didn't want to do Dark Outpost anymore. He didn't want to do the trauma triage team. And he said to CJ, do you want to do it? So I said, CJ, do you want to do it? So CJ took it over. There are no mistakes. There are no coincidences. There's no coincidence that right now the 6 of us are on this show together, or that we've talked together, and that we have intel to share with one another, or that out of all of us, we've all been at some point in the crazy house, and that we've all been targeted because of our ties with Hollywood. That's not coincidence. I've taken that word completely out of my vocabulary. So Tom, can you tell people how they can help contribute to you, and your closing thoughts, please?
Yes, if you want to contribute to what we're doing, this the casework, making the Immortals the way it's supposed to be, the website, the travel expenses for people to come and work together to get these things done. If you go to PayPal and look up @Reclaim Matrix, that would help immensely. I got to just say this too, that my respect has increased tenfold for all y'all here, which is Virginia, for everybody. I just really think you all handled it really well, each of you. And my heart goes out to you all, especially, being hauled off like that. We all know what that's like. And I do want to hear, I have some questions about that also. So
I want to mention something. CJ just texted me and said, for some reason, audio and technical issues always happen when you call out the demons.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? Touchdown.
And then they come and knock on your door.
I thought that was the CIA answering you. We got your message, Brenda. Thank you.
Military at my door. Military.
Tommy, how can people help you?
Cash App, Dr. Gonzo Bing Bong. You get hashtag capital D, lowercase r, capital G, and the rest is lowercase.
Okay, so everyone say it all together. Dr. Gonzo Bing Bong. Okay, everyone.
Dr. Gonzo Bing Bong.
With D and G. And of course, Tommy Edwards, 7062, and Touchdown Tommy Edwards on Instagram and Facebook. Just reach out, say hello. Closing thoughts. If knowledge is power, then knowledge of self is self-empowering.
I like that.
That's good.
Very good. Very good.
Any closing
And,
thoughts from you, Mike?
May I say something? Oh, I just want to say, in order to be the best you can possibly be, make sure you go organic foods, spring water, none of that purified shit out of the city system, but organic foods, spring water. That'll give you a start. Unfortunately, there's so much other pollution; it's beginning to affect everyone. Almost the whole society is going mental. Of course, then there's this thing called chemtrails spraying and HARP. So you guys know about it. Some of you think that's conspiracy stuff, but that word conspiracy theorist was created by the CIA, and George Bush Sr. used that term over and over, along with Junior, after 9/11, to make sure that anybody talks about true conspiracies. It only takes two people.
and actually, Mike Sr. made that up because people were asking questions about the JFK shooting. So yeah, that's where that word came from. And it's an
We have about
oxymoron.
3 more minutes.
All right. Did Susie do her closing?
Susie, where can people
I just
find
want to
you?
say I love all of y'all, and God bless everyone, and may God keep a hedge of protection around each and every one of you and your families in the mighty name of Yeshua Jesus.
And if you want to help Susie out, she has rescue horses and rescue dogs, and I suppose rescue cows. I don't know. If you want to help her help feed all of these critters, you can donate to her PayPal at bowarrowhorses@yahoo.com. My name's Penny Lee Shepherd. I'm the executive producer for Beyond the Box, also for the Awake Nation, the Dark Outpost, and Patriots Perspective. And you can find me on the Awake Nation Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 11 a.m. That's Central, 9 to 12 noon. That's Eastern. And then you can find me here on Beyond the Box, which is every Friday and Saturday night from 9 to 11 Central Time. And that's 10 to midnight Eastern Time. And if you want to help contribute also to some dog food, help for some dog chow, you can, or help support me. I just started a blog. It's not that I just started it. I started a couple years ago, but you can find it at Shepherd, SHEPARD, shepherdentertainment.blogspot.com. And if you'd like to contribute to dog food for these rescue animals, you can send some money to my PayPal at shepherdentertainment.com.
Now, and me, you can find me here Friday and Saturday, of course. And then Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, Instagram. And if you call me and I don't have your number and you don't text me first, you're going to hear Dallas County Morgue. Can I help you? So anyways, everybody be careful on Memorial Day. Do not drink and drive. Find yourself a D&D. And like always, we are going to wrap it up. Be kind to one another. And we will see you all next weekend.
God bless.
Goodbye for now from Beyond the Box. Inside, outside, upside, downside, beyond the box. Please join us again for Beyond the Box, Friday and Saturday evenings from 9 p.m. to 11 p.m. Central, 10 p.m. to midnight Eastern. Join us for more intel bombs with our extraordinary guests.
Break it down.
Inside, outside, upside, downside, beyond the box.
Break it down.
Good night, Putin. Good night, Tucker Carlson.